جسم الشخص، زي كتلة الدهون، كتلة العضلات، كتلة المعادن، كتلة البروتين، كمية المية. وكمان هتعرف كتلة الدهون والعضلات في كل دراع وكل رجل ومنطقة البطن والظهر، وهل ده في المعدل الطبيعي ولا أقل ولا أعلى. مش بس كده، كمان هيطلع لك قياسات تانية زي معدل الحرق الداخلي، مؤشر كتلة الجسم، الوزن المثالي للشخص، كمية العضلات اللي الجسم محتاج يزودها، كمية الدهون اللي الجسم محتاج يزودها أو ينقصها، وغيرها من قياسات الجسم المختلفة. طريقة القياس سهلة وبسيطة. أول خطوة، هنشغل الجهاز بالضغط على زر أون. تاني خطوة، قياس الطول عن طريق جهاز إنلاب باستخدام الموجات فوق الصوتية. تالت خطوة، ادخل بيانات العميل زي الاسم، الاي دي، الطول، النوع والسن على السوفت وير الخاص بالجهاز. رابع خطوة، وقوف العميل على جهاز انبادي على المكان المحدد للقدمين، 2 الكترود في كل رجل حتى ثبات الوزن، وده طبعا بعد خلع الشوز والشراب. وبعدها يتم مسك الكترودات الايد، 2 الكترود في كل ايد. مدة التست حوالي 10 ثواني، ويمكن طباعة الريزلت شيت الخاصة بالتست عشان العميل يحتفظ بيها معاه. وبكده العميل هيرجع يتابع مكونات جسمه باستمرار من خلال صيدلياتك.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mohammed Biden, a neurosurgeon at Mayo Clinic. In this video, we'll cover the basics of disc herniation. What is it? Who gets it? The symptoms, diagnosis, and treatment. Whether you're looking for answers for yourself or someone you love, we're here to give you the best information available. Your spine is a stack of bones, known as vertebrae. In between these bones are small, rubbery discs that act as cushions. They have a soft jelly-like center or nucleus that is encased by a tougher, rubbery exterior. Sometimes, the exterior of these rubbery discs can tear, and the soft inside slips out. This results in a herniated disc, also known as a slip disc or ruptured disc. This disc injury can irritate nearby nerves, causing pain, numbness, or weakness in an arm or leg. Many people with a slip disc never experience symptoms, and surgery is rarely required to fix the problem. Nonetheless, there are a range of treatments available to help those who suffer pain or discomfort from a herniated disc. In most cases, a slip disc happens because of wear and tear, something known as disc degeneration as you age. Your discs become less flexible and are more prone to tears and ruptures. Most people cannot identify the cause of their herniated disc. It can happen from using your back muscles instead of your leg and thigh muscles to lift a heavy object, or from awkwardly twisting and turning. That said, there are other factors outside of your age that can increase your risk of slipping a disc. Being overweight increases the strain on the discs in your lower back. Some people may be genetically predisposed to rupturing a disc, working a physically demanding job, and smoking can decrease the oxygen supply to your disc, causing it to degenerate more rapidly. It's possible to have a herniated disc without having any symptoms. This happens to a lot of people. They may first learn about a herniated disc while undergoing tests for a different issue. Slip discs can trigger a few classic symptoms. Arm or leg pain, often described as a sharp or shooting pain. Pain in your buttocks, thighs, calf, even your foot, numbness or tingling. Your exact symptoms depend on where the herniated disc is located, whether it's pressing on a nerve. Talking to a doctor about the pain that you're experiencing is always a smart move. Your doctor will usually be able to tell if you have a herniated disc by conducting a physical exam, asking about your medical history. They may ask you to lie flat, move your legs into various positions. They may also check your reflexes, muscle strength, walking ability, see if you can feel light touch, pinprick, vibration. If your doctor thinks another condition is causing the pain, or needs to see which nerves are being affected by the slipped disc, they may order one or more of the following: an X-ray, a CAT scan, an MRI, rarely a myelogram. Your medical team may perform a nerve test, like a nerve conduction study or an EMG, to help pinpoint the location of the nerve damage. More often than not, watching your movement and taking pain medication relieves symptoms for most people. Over-the-counter pain relievers like acetaminophen, ibuprofen, naproxen are great options for mild to moderate pain. If your pain is severe, your doctor might recommend a cortisone injection or muscle relaxers. In rare cases, opioids may be prescribed for a short period of time when other treatments have not worked. Physical therapy can also help manage pain with positions, stretches, and exercises designed to minimize the discomfort caused by a herniated disc. Few people with a slipped disc ever need surgery, but when it's necessary, surgeons may perform what's known as a discectomy. This may be done in an open manner or in a minimally invasive manner. The protruding portion of the disc is removed. Sometimes, in cases of spinal instability, a bone graft is needed, where the vertebrae are fused together with metal hardware. In rare circumstances, a surgeon may implant an artificial disc to replace the herniated one. If you think you have a herniated disc, talk to your doctor. Come prepared. Try to figure out when your symptoms started, how you may have injured it, and what, if anything, helps improve your symptoms. Back injuries are incredibly common. Thankfully, most people find a way to manage their pain and are able to return to normal activity.
About 10% of people with diabetes have type 1. It's got nothing to do with diet or lifestyle, it just happens. When you have type 1 diabetes, your body attacks the insulin-producing cells in your pancreas, so you can't produce any insulin at all. And we all need insulin to live. It does an essential job. It allows the glucose in our blood to enter our cells and fuel our bodies. When you have type 1 diabetes, your body still breaks down the carbohydrate from food and drink and turns it into glucose. But when the glucose enters your bloodstream, there's no insulin to allow it into your body's cells. More and more glucose then builds up in your bloodstream. So what does this mean? Well, before diagnosis, your body tries to get rid of the glucose through your kidneys, and that makes you wee a lot. Weeing so much leads to another symptom of diabetes, extreme thirst. Because glucose can't enter your cells to give you energy, you'll feel incredibly tired. To try and get energy, the body breaks down fat stores to provide fuel. That's why people often lose weight before discovering they've got type 1 diabetes. These symptoms tend to come on quickly, over just a few days or weeks. Anyone who has these symptoms should see a doctor as soon as possible. If you've got type 1 diabetes, you get insulin into your body by injecting it or using a pump which delivers a constant supply into you. You'll also need to check that your blood glucose levels are not too low or too high by using a blood glucose testing device several times a day. When you start taking insulin, you'll begin to feel better, and your blood glucose levels will go down. This is important because over a long period of time, high glucose levels in your blood can seriously damage your heart, your eyes, your feet, and your kidneys. These are known as the complications of diabetes. But with the right treatment and care, the long-term effects of diabetes and high glucose levels can be managed. You can find out how we can help you manage your diabetes on our website. We're still not sure why some people get type 1 diabetes and others don't, or why the immune system of someone with type 1 attacks the cells that produce insulin. But our researchers are learning more and more about type 1 diabetes, so we can develop new treatments and one day find a cure.
لصحة أفضل، قسم طبقك الغذائي ليشمل المجموعات الغذائية. الخبز، الحبوب، البطاطس تشكل الجزء الأكبر من احتياجنا اليومي، وهي 25% من الطبق. الفواكه الطازجة 20%، الخضروات الطازجة 30%، اللحوم، الأسماك، البيض، الحليب ومنتجات الألبان 25%، على أن تكون قليلة الدهون. بينما الأطعمة السكرية والدهنية التي تشكل النسبة الأقل من احتياجاتنا اليومية تشمل الحلويات والصلصات.
كثيرا منا ما يعاني من نقص في القوة الجسدية والإرهاق وانعدام اللياقة البدنية، وكثيرا ما يكون أكلنا غير صحي وغير منتظم، ناسين قوله صلى الله عليه وسلم: المؤمن القوي خير وأحب إلى الله من المؤمن الضعيف. هنا تكمن قصة صديقنا البدين، والذي لم يكترث يوما لجسمه وصحته وانتظام طعامه، حتى جاء اليوم الذي يقدم فيه على الاشتراك في ناد رياضي، حيث انتظم بنظام غذائي صحي وباشر تدريباته باجتهاد، وخلال وقت قصير أصبح لاعبا رياضيا مرموقا. لا تتردد في الاهتمام بصحتك وغذائك، فهما سر نجاحك
Nutrition. Good nutrition is important to maintain a healthy life. It can help you feel your best and stay strong. It can help reduce the risk of common diseases. And if you already have certain health issues, good nutrition can help you control the symptoms. Nutrition can sometimes seem complicated, but the good news is that the Food and Drug Administration has a simple tool to help you know exactly what you're eating. It's called the Nutrition Facts Label. You will find it on all packaged foods and beverages. It serves as your guide for making choices that can affect your long-term health.
Being healthy is something we're always encouraged to do. But how can we be healthy? It all starts with creating healthy habits. Healthy habits can make you feel stronger and happier. Think of your body and mind like a car. A car needs good quality fuel to run well. You can't put in soft drink and expect it to run smoothly, can you? Just like a car, you need to fuel your body and mind with really good, nourishing foods, thoughts, and actions that will make it function well. But what's a habit? A habit is created when you do something repeatedly until it becomes natural. Having healthy habits can help you to feel strong, create good relationships with people around you, help you concentrate better in class, and give you the daily boost you need to do all the things you love. One of the most important healthy habits to have is healthy eating. Healthy eating is all about feeding your body fresh and nutritious foods. This should include colourful vegetables, fruits and nuts, grains, legumes, dairy, and lean meats and fish. Even though all these foods are good for us, there are still some that we should eat lots of, and some we should limit. We should eat lots of vegetables, legumes, and grains. But we should eat lean meats, dairy, and fruits and nuts in moderate amounts, which means not heaps and heaps. There are some foods that should only be a sometimes treat because they're not very good for us and have very little nutritional value, like sugary or fatty foods and drinks. And of course, we should drink plenty of water every single day. When you combine healthy foods with physical activity, it will help you to feel healthy. Did you know children your age should be active for at least 60 minutes a day? Another healthy habit is getting lots of sleep. our body, including our brain. Make sure you're getting 10 hours of sleep a night, and you'll find yourself feeling fresh and ready to make the most out of every day. Here are 4 ways you can build healthy habits. Eat the fruit and vegetable rainbow. Even though you may not be in charge of the grocery shopping, you can always make your own healthy choices. Maybe you can choose to drink water instead of a soft drink or juice when you feel thirsty. Buy a piece of fruit instead of sweets from the canteen. Or have some salad with dinner. Simple choices like that can make a huge difference to your health. Eating a variety of fruits and vegetables that are full of different colours is super important because they all help your body in different ways. So, try and have as many colours as you can every day. Sleep well. Nothing should interfere with your sleep. Not even your homework should keep you up longer than you need to be. So, make sure you plan your time well so you can complete it before bed. Try to keep a good bedtime routine. Going to bed at the same time each night is great for your body and can make going to sleep easier. Keep any phones, tablets, and other devices out of your bedroom when it's bedtime. Make your bedroom a place that feels relaxing to you. This means it should be comfortable, quiet, and dark when it's time to sleep. Get active. It doesn't require you to change your entire day. In fact, it's really easy and you might not even realize you're doing it. Playing at lunchtime, school sports, riding your bike, or even going for a swim are all examples of exercise that can make up your 60 minutes. If you can minimize the time you spend in front of a screen, you might find yourself spending more time with your friends and moving around. Last but not least, find a balance. Going to extremes, whether it's with your diet, exercise, or sleep, isn't necessary. You can enjoy a bit of everything. So, find a healthy balance of sleep, play, food, water, school, and social time. When you combine healthy eating, physical activity, plenty of sleep, and lots of water, you will have the power and energy to be your best. Plus, you'll discover that as you get older, you'll need these healthy habits because they're important no matter how old you are. So, why not start now?
The human digestive system is very complex and has evolved over millions of years. It basically consists of the rectum, the large intestine, the small intestine, the pancreas, the stomach, also called gaster and ventriculus, and the liver with the gallbladder. The esophagus is also part of this system, as well as various salivary glands near the mouth. First, the food is broken up in the mouth by the teeth and then mixed with saliva with the help of the salivary glands. Saliva contains a digestive enzyme called amylase that already begins to digest carbohydrates in the mouth. It splits carbohydrates into smaller units. The ball-like mixture of food with saliva, also known as bolus, is pushed into the throat by the tongue, and finally into the esophagus, which propels the bolus to the stomach. The esophageal lumen, that is, the opening inside the esophagus, is very flexible, which allows boluses of different sizes to be transported. The esophagus consists of several layers. These layers occur throughout the entire digestive tract. The two outer muscle layers are responsible for peristalsis. Through these two muscles, the bolus can be transported from the mouth to the stomach, even if the person is standing on his head. The stomach is often divided into 6 areas. The stomach is composed of a similar structure to the esophagus. It has a longitudinal muscle layer on the outside. Underneath, we can find circular muscle fibers. In addition to this, there is an oblique muscle layer overlaying the mucosa. On the inside, there are rugae that allow the stomach to enlarge when food is consumed. The stomach wall contains gastric glands. They produce mucus, which is able to protect the stomach wall from the secreted gastric acid. Gastric acid is produced by simply smelling or seeing food, but also spices, and the stretching of the stomach causes the secretion, that is, the release of gastric acid. About 1 to 2 liters of gastric juice are produced per day. Since the esophagus does not have a protective mucus layer like the stomach and esophagus are separated by a sphincter. It relaxes when a bolus is pushed from the esophagus into the stomach and then contracts to prevent acid and food from going back up. Gastric juice consists, among other things, of hydrochloric acid, the enzyme pepsin, the intrinsic factor, and lipase for the digestion of fat. In addition to nutrients, food also contains bacteria that can damage the body. The components of hydrochloric acid are able to destroy harmful bacteria. In addition, hydrochloric acid converts pepsinogen, also released by the gastric glands, into pepsin. Pepsin is able to break down proteins in the stomach. For a vitamin B12 absorption in the small intestine, the intrinsic factor is needed, which is produced by the gastric glands. The vitamin must combine with intrinsic factor, then it can be absorbed later by the small intestine. Vitamin B12 helps keep the body's nerve and blood cells healthy and helps make DNA. It also contains gastric lipase, an acid-resistant enzyme for fat digestion. In the stomach, gastric lipase splits a triglyceride into a free fatty acid and a diglyceride, whereby only the free fatty acid can be absorbed by the body. More effective fat digestion takes place in the small intestine. Gastric juice and stomach movements, which take place approximately every 20 seconds, the individual boluses are mixed to a semi-fluid mass of partly digested food, the so-called chyme. The chyme cannot enter the duodenum at first because there is a sphincter at the stomach exit. The pyloric sphincter resembles the esophageal sphincter. The pyloric sphincter opens only a few millimeters, so that larger pieces remain inside the stomach. In the first section of the small intestine, the duodenum, bile, and pancreatic secretions are mixed with the chyme via the ampulla of Vater. Pancreatic juice contains numerous digestive proenzymes and enzymes. In order for these to do their job, A higher pH value than that in the stomach is necessary. For this reason, pancreatic juice contains sodium hydrogen carbonate. Hydrogen carbonate is able to neutralize the acid in the chyme and thus produce the optimum pH value of 7 or 8. Pancreatic juice also contains proenzymes. It is only through enterokinase, released by the duodenum wall, that the proenzyme trypsinogen becomes trypsin, which can split proteins and activate other trypsinogens. We also find alpha amylase, which we had already found in the mouth. It now does the rest regarding the splitting of carbohydrates, which it converts into maltose and isomaltose. Furthermore, pancreatic lipase is able to split triglycerides into 2 free fatty acids. The gastric lipase, as we have seen before, can produce only 1 free fatty acid. The pancreatic lipase can cleave triglycerides excellently because the bile breaks the fats down into tiny droplets. This is called emulsification. Numerous other enzymes are part of pancreatic juice, but these will not be explained in detail here. Bile is produced by the liver cells and transported to the gallbladder. The bile is stored in the gallbladder and finally added to the food in the duodenum via the ampulla of Vater. The pancreas also releases juice via the ampulla of Vater. The small intestine consists of 3 sections: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The ileum continues into the large intestine in the right lower abdomen. The duodenum and the jejunum have circular folds to increase the contact surface with the food. These circular folds extend about 1 centimeter into the lumen of the small intestine. These folds are covered with small finger-like projections called villi. Villi increase the surface considerably. Villi are about 1 millimeter long. Each villus contains blood capillaries and a lymphatic capillary called lacteal, which we will see later. The nutrients, marked green here, are absorbed by the villus and transferred to the blood capillaries. Some nutrients, such as glucose, do not require a carrier. They are transported freely in the bloodstream. Other nutrients, such as iron, require transport proteins like transferrin. Fats are transported by chylomicrons, which are lipoproteins. The triglycerides to be transported are virtually enclosed in the lipoprotein. Chylomicrons and triglycerides are then transported through the lacteal of the villus. Each villus is covered by even smaller microvilli. They multiply the intestinal surface considerably. The microvilli absorb nutrients and transport them to the inside. The last part of the small intestine is the ileum. It does not have, unlike the duodenum and jejunum, circular folds. The ileum absorbs electrolytes, such as calcium, for building bones, hair, and teeth. Trace elements, such as zinc, for sperm production and the immune system. Vitamins, such as B12, for the formation and maturation of red blood cells. And remaining bile acid, which is transported back to the liver via the bloodstream. As with the esophagus, the food is transported by peristalsis. In contrast, segmentation contractions serve to mix the chyme, which is shown here in yellow and red, to make it easier to see the mixing process. About 1 meter long and surrounds the small intestine. The small intestine is connected to the large intestine via the Bowling's valve. It opens when chyme is to pass from the small intestine to the large intestine. The large intestine does not have any villi like the small intestine because most digestible substances have already been absorbed in the small intestine. However, the large intestine has an estimated 100 billion bacteria inside. They are important for many other tasks, such as the production of vitamins and the decomposition of fiber for the body's energy production. Many of these bacteria are an important part of the immune system by killing harmful germs. Through peristalsis, the chyme is transported from the ascending colon to the transverse colon to the descending colon. On its way through the large intestine, water is removed from the chyme. Furthermore, mucus is added for proper excretion of waste. Substances that cannot be absorbed through the small intestine or the large intestine remain in the rectum and are finally excreted through the anus.
عملية الهضم والامتصاص. مما لا شك فيه أن جميع الكائنات الحية باختلاف أنواعها تحتاج إلى الطاقة التي تضمن لها استمرارية الحياة والقدرة على تنفيذ العمليات الحيوية الخاصة بها، وهذه الطاقة يتم توفيرها عبر الغذاء. لكن كيف تتم عملية تحويل الطعام إلى طاقة؟ إنها عملية التمثيل الغذائي، وهي سلسلة من التفاعلات الكيميائية التي تحدث داخل الخلايا الموجودة في الجسم بالاعتماد على مجموعة الإنزيمات التي تؤدي دورا فعالا في نمو الكائنات الحية وتحفيزها على التفاعل مع بيئتها. والآن، كيف تتم عملية التمثيل الغذائي؟ بمجرد تناول الطعام وهضمه بواسطة الفم، ثم انتقاله إلى المريء بحركة دودية حتى يصل إلى تجويف المعدة، يتم احتجاز الطعام لمدة قد تصل إلى بضع ساعات لتبدأ تفاعلات التمثيل الغذائي، حيث تقوم عضلات المعدة العرضية والطولية والمائلة اللا إرادية بالانقباض لتحطيم المواد الغذائية الواصلة إليها وتكسيرها إلى جزيئات يسهل تحويلها إلى طاقة. وفي هذه الأثناء تفرز الغدد الموجودة في المعدة كلا من حمض الهيدروكلوريك HCl، والذي يحافظ على جعل الوسط حمضيا لقتل معظم البكتيريا والميكروبات، وإنزيم البيبسين الذي يقوم بهضم البروتينات إلى بيبتيدات، هذا بالإضافة إلى المادة المخاطية التي تسهل مرور الطعام في المعدة وتحمي جدار المعدة من الحامض المركز. وبعد إتمام الهضم المعدي للطعام، ترتخي العضلة العاصرة في نهاية المعدة ليمر الطعام إلى الأمعاء، حيث يتم استكمال هضمه إلى مكوناته الدقيقة تحت تأثير 3 عصارات: العصارة البنكرياسية، والتي تعتبر من أقوى العصارات، حيث تقوم على هضم الدهون والكربوهيدرات والبروتينات. العصارة الصفراوية التي يفرزها الكبد وتعمل على هضم الدهون. والعصارة المعوية، وهي عبارة عن سائل تفرزه الأمعاء لاستكمال عملية الهضم. الآن يكون الطعام قد تحول إلى أبسط مكوناته، فيتم امتصاصه من خلال الخملات الغذائية الموجودة على جدار الأمعاء الدقيقة، والتي تحتوي على تفرعات الأوعية الدموية وتفرعات الجهاز الليمفاوي، حيث إن الغالبية العظمى من المواد الممتصة تنتقل عبر الشعيرات الدموية إلى الدم، ومنه إلى الكبد عبر وريد الباب الكبدي، فالقلب، حيث يوزعها القلب إلى جميع أجزاء الجسم. وهذا هو الطريق الدموي، بينما ينتقل جزء من المواد الممتصة عبر الليمف ومنه إلى الدم الذي يوزعها إلى جميع أجزاء الجسم، وهذا هو الطريق الليمفاوي.